welcome to the Emerson Channel Comedy Special. Tonight's lineup is Max Rosenberg, Jane Nolan, Lucy Erspamer, Stanley Swerdlow, Claire Farnsworth, Patrick Gray, and now your first comic of the night, the inimitable, the indomitable, Alyssa DeVries.
Don't worry, I've got it. Happy New Year. My producers told me I could pick any royalty-free song I wanted for my intro, and so I immediately thought, Auld Lang Syne, melancholy winter song. Let's bring the mood down. Hi, I'm Alyssa DeVries, and I am currently wearing 2 toe rings. What I'm getting at is that I'm a douchebag. You're a prince. So, my primary goal in life is to be effortless and cool, which I absolutely am not. I did purchase that robe for the sole purpose of dropping it to the floor as punctuation. Yeah, so definitely not effortless and cool. As you can probably tell, this takes quite a bit of effort. Dermatologist, Nouvering, dermatologist. I got lots of moles. But yeah, I love my Nouvering though. To quote Macklemore, she keeps me warm. Sometimes if I'm having penetrative sex with a man, he can feel it with the tip of his penis. And I say, you're welcome, Sebastian. I'm doing this for you, but also for me. But also if this works out for both of us in the future, I am expecting you to get a vasectomy. It's reversible. Come on, be cool. If this was an after-school special, I'd be wearing a leather jacket to signify that I'm evil. My mom asked me if her ass was fat. I said, hell yeah. And then she was sad for a couple of days. Middle-aged people don't understand that butts are in. If butts weren't in, the market for me would be very small, way smaller than the small it already is. You can't tell with this butt on top of my butt, but I'm packing heat. The junk is in the trunk, and we're going to the rummage sale. So now my type is either soft-hearted motherfuckers or soft-hearted motherfuckers who like a good tushy. I dated this guy for a while, and I used to let him do this thing he coined butt time. And I want you to know he did invent this, terminology and all, and filed for a patent. I'll give you a little taste of what butt time entailed. I would drop trow, lay on my tummy, and play games on my phone, and he would kneel at the foot of the bed and just admire my ass. It was pretty lucrative for both of us because he would get aroused by my badonkadonk, and I would return emails. I mean, sometimes I'd get cold, but when the going gets tough, the tough realize that it could be a lot worse. Like, he could want to pee on you. Not that that would be so bad. At least it'd be warm, like cozying up to a wood-burning stove as you drink spiced apple cider. Winter, holiday cheer, urine. That'd be my ad campaign for piss play. So, recently I tried poppers, so I know that peer pressure is real. And no, my anus did not feel more relaxed. I keep my butthole clasped tight at all times like a rusty vintage locket. Only if you whisper the password into it will it reveal its secrets to you, and the secret is, you look nice today. That's a joke about how it would be easy to get me to do anal sex if you were polite to me. People often assume I don't want to do things because I look like a sugar cube. You should see me smoke a bong. It's pretty cute, like a dog dressed up as Yoda. I never really had time to be messy because of, childhood trauma. So when people assume that I don't want to go hiking because of the way that I look, well, they're probably right, but that's because of my exercise-induced asthma. And now there's really no time to be messy because I'm a female comedian. But you know what? I will start being messy the day that middle-aged men stop calling me a comedian. Why do they always want to call me a comedian? Don't they know I'm just a hole? I think I'd get more respect as a porn star than as a female comedian, because at least in porn, when you scroll down to the comments, some guy has commented, "What's her name?" And some other guy has replied, "Crystal Knight, hot stuff. Wish I were her stepbrother." And nobody ever says that about me. They just compliment my male friends as I wait for the obligatory, "You were good too." I know I was good, but do you even want to be my stepbrother? Sorry. So, I used to think that Professor Utonium was what God looked like. It makes sense. He's a father. He created people out of nothing. And he's sexy. End of joke. Last year, I used to only work mornings, and while I vacuumed, I listened to the whole Twilight series on tape. And I know what you're thinking. I'm Team Jacob because I want Edward all to myself. I don't know why I did it. I know why I did it. To get my rocks off. Did you know that the author, Stephanie Myers, is Mormon? I knew. And that's the reason that Edward and Bella had to wait until marriage and do missionary sex. Is that why they call it missionary? Realizing things. Freshman year, I was marvelous Miss Maisel, which means that the guy I was seeing stole a joke, and I stood by his side anyways. Not my best moment, but also not my worst, because I've been to Michigan. When I was marvelous Miss Maisel, like when I was first watching the series, I was like, how did she let him do this? How did she stay by his side? And then when it happened to me, I was like, well, I got a pretty good thing going here. I finally trained him to make me come. Better make a pot roast and put on a pretty little dress. Do I regret it? Absolutely. But did I also throw him a Star Wars-themed Easter egg hunt on the day he was discovered to have plagiarized to cheer him up? Also, absolutely. I am the yin to my own yang. Okay, guys, stick with me because this one's a little offbeat. I am the Lorax, and I speak for myself. Once I threw up in an Uber and I gave the driver $11 and a green tea bag. Once I threw up on my babysitter as she was about to attend a funeral. Once I threw up on P-Row. Not in, on. Once. Dear man, I've recently been watching the American Pie tetralogy, the series of 4 movies, and I really do feel like I'm starting to understand you more. Throughout the films, we get to see displays of male kinship, which are both beautiful and horrifying, like The Black Swan, but with Jason Biggs. In the first film, they're high school seniors, it's about to be senior prom, and nobody's gotten their dicks wet. Wow, what to do? The first guy has sex with his girlfriend. Boring. The second guy has sex with his best friend's mom. Less boring. And the third guy gets fucked and gets a solo in his choir recital, which sounds like a perfect evening to me. The final one, Jason Biggs, of course, has sex with Lily from How I Met Your Mother, but I don't care. I care that he got the opportunity to personify the American dream and fuck an apple pie. But if I personally fucked a pie, I'd get a UTI, and that's called the patriarchy. Apologize, please. Thank you. I never asked to cry in a minimalist bathroom. It called to me like a siren song. As a child of divorced parents, one of my parents was bound to make me sob, and one of my parents was bound to have a minimalist bathroom. My lucky father was both. My father and I have nothing in common except for that we both like salmon, and not even that much. Like, enough to order it, but only if it's cedar plank. My mom and I are so similar, it's scary. We have the same raincoat, like the same color and everything, which is more revealing than you think. They're both here tonight. Which should I get dessert with after the show? Shout it out! Oh my God, guys, no, you guys are so crazy. I'm not actually gonna let you pick. That would be crazy. And I already decided. Congratulations, Dad. I've been Alyssa DeVries, and I have 2 boobs and a big butt. Thank you.
Everyone bleed out a hearty round of applause for 2-time Conan alum and Emerson heartthrob, Max Rosenberg.
I was in love once. I fell in love about 2 years ago, and it was the kind of thing where I didn't want to do anything else. I didn't want to try to be a comedian or write for television. I just wanted to be with her. And I told my friend this, and he said that he was in love too, but that he still wanted to work to achieve his goals. And that's when I found out that I'm incredibly lazy. We are no longer together, but I still don't know the true meaning of hard work, so you could say that I'm still in love. In high school, I played on the baseball team, and we once had a game get delayed because of a double homicide on the field. Not canceled, delayed. We still played and we won, but I'm sure you're wondering at this point, if that doesn't get a high school baseball game delayed, canceled, what would? And the answer is rain. It's just rain. If the field gets too wet, there's a chance that one of the players might get hurt. I was in an Uber recently, and I don't really like to talk to Uber drivers because I tend to get in fight with strangers. But this Uber driver really wanted to talk, so I tried to pick the most neutral topic that I could think of, and that was the weather. This is how that conversation went. It's really hot out today. You're right, it is hot out, and it's supposed to be hot for a while longer. So true. Global warming, I guess. That was my mistake. Global warming isn't real. The Jews control the weather. Go on. Well, the Jews have this special power where they can control natural disasters, and they use that to destroy cities so they can build them, so they can buy them cheap with their Jew money, and then build them back up for a huge profit. That's where he lost me. Because there were 38 hurricanes in 2018, and 11 of them hit Florida. And the Jews have owned Florida for 50 years now. My grandpa might die soon, so I've written a first draft of his eulogy. He might die because cold and flu season is around the corner, and he doesn't have a very warm jacket, so I'm worried for him. So if you like the eulogy, hate the eulogy, please give me notes after the show, because I just want to kill it at his funeral. Alan Rosenberg was born during the 40s somewhere in the South. I don't know much about his early life, except that when we went to see The Help, he said that it reminded him of his childhood. So do with that what you will. He went to Georgia Tech to study, I think, engineering. He told me during Passover a couple years ago that his freshman year roommate spray-painted swastikas over the campus and asked him if he was a Jew. He lied. He had the same mustache for 40 years. He also took a job at Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena. There he worked on Apollo 11. Sometimes I tell him that the moon landing was faked. I can't tell if he cares. He doesn't talk much, but sometimes he giggles and it's adorable. He has 2 kids, my dad, kind of a dick, and my Uncle Lenny, super chill, sells sunglasses. My mom says that Alan was super strict and mean to my dad, which is why my dad was super strict and mean to me. And someday I'll raise my son the same way. Every day of Alan's last couple years was the same. I made a schedule. Wake up, eat a bowl of Cheerios, no milk, watch tennis, take a nap, eat a sandwich, and then a fudgesicle. Sugar-free because he had diabetes. Watch Jeopardy, and then Wheel of Fortune. He never did see that last episode of Wheel of Fortune. He's in his forever box now. I also imagine that he will not be buried in a Jewish cemetery, just because I imagine if I saw him, I would draw a mustache on him in Sharpie, and then they would think that's a tattoo, and then they wouldn't be able to bury him there, and I'd be too shy to bring it up. So that's the real fear. My dad might leave a well-paying job just to create an app, which is a bold choice, honestly, but he thinks that the app is going to be the next big thing. I can't really delve into specifics because it's very hush-hush in these early days, but if I had to describe it in one word, I'd call it Yelp. It's an app where you can write restaurant reviews and share those reviews with your friends as well as other people using the app. So it's just Yelp. I told my dad that I thought it was just Yelp, and he called me stupid. My mom told him the same thing, and they got divorced. My dad, clearly this app means a lot to him, and he'd be really mad if he knew I was telling this joke because he doesn't want anyone to steal his already stolen idea. But the other day, my dad flew into Boston to surprise me, and I thought it was because he was coming to the show. But he said that someone else ripped off the app, and he just wanted to know who I told. So he's not here right now. But, he's an okay dad. In my mind, there are 2 types of dads. There's the type of dad that takes their kid to the hospital, and the type of dad that doesn't take their kid to the hospital. And my dad is the second kind. I knew that from a very young age, though, so when I broke my ankle on a skiing trip at the age of 12, I knew exactly my situation was. I went up to my mom when I thought she was alone, and I went, "I think I broke my ankle." And from the other room, I heard my dad go, "Let me take a look at it." Fuck, I'm not going to the hospital. My dad took one look and went, "It's not broken, but I've got just the cure. Please don't be a glass. It's a glass of whiskey. Drink up, son. That ankle's not going to heal itself." In fairness to him, he was right about the last part. He drank his own glass of whiskey after that, then sat down next to me on the bed and went, "I know your ankle's not broken because I broke my ankle once. I broke it while I was mountain biking, and I had to bike 3 miles out of the canyon while my ankle was shattered. And then I drove myself to the emergency room. You wouldn't even know what that's like." And I'm like, "You're right, Dad. I have never been to a doctor. I have no idea what that's like." And he went, "You're a good kid." And he went, "Dinner's in 10 minutes, and so drink up, son." we're going to walk to dinner because it's a nice night out. It's only 15 blocks away. Also, fair warning, I'm going to call you Hop Along for the next 3 weeks because I think your broken ankle limp is funny. But he's a great guy. One time he actually told me all of this. He didn't tell me that he felt bad. What he said was that he talked to his therapist about it, and that made him feel a lot better. So I don't think he really knows what therapy is, but I go to therapy, and I was talking to my therapist the other day, and midway through my story, she stopped me and went, "You know, you're really hard to read." And I was like, "Isn't that your whole job?" I started going to therapy because I get panic attacks, and the first panic attack, I didn't really know what was happening. I just had this deep feeling that no one cared about me and that no one wanted me around. And my friend came to take care of me during this. And we just kind of sat there in silence while I just rested my head on her shoulder and cried. And after like 30 minutes of this, she went, "Do you mind if I play some tunes?" And I didn't say anything, and she's like, "This song really slaps." And she put on Christian rap. And in that moment, the only thing I could really think was, this song really does slap. I guess the point I'm trying to make is that Christian rap saved my life. Thank you so much. I'm Max Rosenberg.
Please welcome to the stage the new kid in town. I believe her name is Jane Nolan.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing tonight? Good? I'm good too. Thank you for asking. That's fine. Before we begin, I would just like to share this poem that I wrote with you all. I know this is the comedy special, but I kind of wrote this in a dark place in my life, and it would just mean a lot to me to share it with you all tonight. This is called Grocery Store. Mom? Mom? Where are you? Where are you? Thank you. Guys, stop. Took me 3 years to write that with the help of my therapist. I'm a tortured artist, what can I say? I almost dated a tortured artist once. I was so close. It was in middle school. This boy, he was so cool. He wore Vans and had a penny board. He was unlike anyone I'd ever met before. And we would message on Facebook, and he would be like, "What are you doing right now?" And I'd be like, "Who, me? Just watching Pretty Little Liars and writing some poetry." Just so he knew I was an intellectual too. But one day we were messaging, and I could tell that something was wrong because he didn't put as many ha-has in the messages. And he confided in me that they lost the drummer to their band. I know, so young to die. I'm kidding. His mom couldn't drive him to rehearsals or something lame like that. But I thought this was the perfect opportunity for me to slide in, and I told him that I used to drum. Spoiler alert, I've never drummed before. But he believed me, and he invited me over that weekend to practice. So bingo, ladies and gentlemen, I got myself a first date, and all I had to do was lie about everything. So I went over to his house. I thought I had this in the bag. We were gonna get married. Didn't occur to me that I would have to play the drums, but not only did I have to play them, I had to play a beat that was hard as fuck. Yeah, he was like, "All right, you're gonna go ba-doom, boom, ba-doom, boom, 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 boom," drum noises, you know? And I was like, okay, I grew up on this beat, let me know when rehearsal starts. He goes over to the microphone, he's like, "Come in on the 8 count." I come in immediately, because I don't know how to count. And I can already tell that's wrong just by the look on his face, just like pure betrayal. But it doesn't occur to me to be like, "Oh, just admit that you don't know how to play the drums. Haha, I'm so quirky." I just start playing aggressively louder. Because nothing proves more that you know how to play the drums than making your mistakes louder. So this 30-second window goes by of me smashing his drum and him internally screaming, until all of a sudden I hear, and I look down, and I had broken the drum. Cheap drum, in my defense, no second date. You know how every house has like a specific special smell that you just can't explain? Do you ever go into a house and immediately you're just like, yep, you let your animal shit inside. Yeah, pee-pee pads, man's greatest invention. I'm gonna let the concept of animal shit help me segue into my next bit about social media, just because I feel like those two kind of relate. Sorry, I'm a millennial, I have to talk about social media or I'll die. It's simple biology. But social media trends are the funniest thing to observe. Like back in the day, I don't know if you guys remember this, but Instagram had those photo a day challenges. There'd be like the holiday ones where it'd be like, post a picture of hot cocoa, day 6. My favorite is when like you could tell the person almost forgot to post their photo. So it'd just be like a blurry picture of their dog running away from the camera. Day 4, pets. So manic, so manic. But they were so much better back in the day than they are now. I feel like everyone is so paranoid by the government like taking their content, but I kind of hope the government takes mine just so I can finally become Instagram famous and meet Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, I'll admit it. I have a Wall-E fantasy. Sue me. But don't try to look me up on social media, because that shit is a mess. Like most things in relation to me are, especially my childhood. Ooh, I look back on things that I did in my childhood, and I'm like, why didn't someone put me down? For starters, I was horrifying to look at. I had severe eczema, so I kind of looked like a miniature junkie with all these like scratches all over me. The track marks didn't help, but that's a different story. Yeah, but we tried every treatment to try to alleviate the eczema, to the point where my mom came up to me one day and told me that she read a WikiHow article that if you rub banana peels on your skin, it helps alleviate it. It doesn't. It just makes you look insane as you rummage through garbage cans looking for banana peels to rub on your skin. Ugh. Not only did I look like a drug addict, though, I also acted like one as a child. For example, in 6th grade, when I first got my cell phone, I found my 5th grade teacher's number and texted her just to call her a bitch. The thing that confuses me to this day is that I liked her. We had a good relationship. She let me do my thing, I let her do hers, but let me tell you, she used reverse phone lookup real quick to find me. What a bitch. When I was 8 years old, I went over to my friend's house one day, and we went into her room to play wrestle. Actually, play wrestle. We were 8 years old. Please pay attention. But the whole entire time that we were doing it, I couldn't stop thinking about this one scene from the movie Unbreakable. It came out in 1993. I don't expect you to know it. I don't know why I knew it as an 8-year-old. But there's this one scene where the two guys are fighting, and then they just rip their shirts off to indicate to the audience like that they're really gonna fight now. And so, without prompting, as we're playing, I just go, "Wah!" and rip my shirt off. My friend did not sign up for that day. Oh. My logic, though, I'll let you know, I was just like, okay, we're play wrestling. I want her to take me seriously as a wrestler, so let me take what I learned from this 90s drama that I saw once and rip my shirt off. Makes sense, hello? Just, such an activist already trying to free that nipple. My friend after that went to a Catholic middle school, a Catholic high school, and a Catholic college, And I hate to think that my striptease has something to do with it, but the timing is a little suspicious. So's the phone call that her mom made to mine, but you live and you learn. Now I know to always read a room before ripping my shirt off. Not tonight. This set paints me in such a great light. If you guys want to be my friend, just come see me after the show. We could play wrestle, or maybe if you're lucky, I'll play the drums for you. Until then, thank you so much. I'm Jane Nolan. Thank you.
Folks, give it up for the exemplar of femininity. She's Lucy Erspamer.
Hi, I'm Lucy, and I'm the girl your mom made you invite to the sleepover. You know how your mom makes you invite the whole class, but there are the kids who know they're just courtesy invited. They know not to show up. I'm the one who does show up. And then in the middle of the night, I tell you I'm hungry, and you're like, we already ate dinner, and my mom's asleep. You want me to, wake her up so she can make you food or something? And then I feel shame, and I develop a habit of secret eating, which then turns into a full-blown eating disorder. Most of you probably know a dog named Lucy, and that's because Lucy is one of the top 10 dog names. And it's my name. And this story, it's so dear to my heart. My mom, she named me Lucy because she knew I was going to be a huge bitch. That's a joke. I'm named after my grandma, Lucy, who coincidentally happens to be a huge bitch. She punched someone in the face, last month at her assisted living home. So some breakdown on my grandma's stats. She's 87, she's diabetic, she has dementia, and she punched a woman with Alzheimer's. And that is the showdown of the century. So look out for my grandma on World Star Hip Hop. She'll be the one wearing a pin with a picture of Jack Sparrow on it. She never takes it off. She has bright red hair because I was born a redhead and I'm going to dye one. And she smells like piss. My mom told me I wasn't allowed to ask about her fight, but she did say I was allowed to tell all of you that my grandma smells like piss. My mom, she's so great, and she really does not discriminate when it comes to who she's attracted to. Her first boyfriend was a Vietnamese refugee named Qua, who she taught English to. Swoon! And ever since I was a really small child, she would tell me how sexy it is when football players have their dreads hanging out their helmets. And I was at a Packers game with her this summer. That's football for all you losers. And I caught her Googling Packer player with dreads. Next to my father, who is a white accountant from Wisconsin. And her nickname in college was Equal Opportunity Date. She's such an ally. Throwing it back to dog content, my aunt has a license plate that says Dog Mom, but she has an actual daughter. I just feel like it should say human mom, but maybe that's just me. Maybe my priorities are different, but she's like dog mom first, actual mom second. I don't know how food works. I always thought Italian ice was just frozen meatballs. And I just found out recently that I'm not supposed to cook things in a boiling pot using a plastic fork. Because apparently the plastic can melt down and enter my system and then kill me. So obviously after that I changed the way I cook. I now use 2 plastic forks. Speaking of forks, I'm bad at masturbating. which is a real shame because I've been beating my meat since I was like, 4? I should be good at it now, but instead I just never stopped doing it the way I did when I was 4. It's not very effective, but it's safe, and it's what I know. I do work in the porn industry, though. It's not what you guys think. I do this thing, it's called reverse porn, and it's where people pay me to put my clothes back on. It's really lucrative for me. No, I don't think I could handle all those people looking at me, though. There's this thing, it's called the male gaze. You guys know about it? I hate it. It's why I can't watch Queer Eye. I'm bisexual, so that's why I can make that joke. And I'm gay on my mom's side, I'm straight on my dad's side. And people always ask me, Lucy, how do I tell if my baby is gay? And I tell them, well, 1, if instead of saying goo goo, they say gaga. And 2, if they have limp wrists. Milk. I do feel like I was raised by 2 gay men. I wasn't, but I feel like I was sometimes because my mom, she used to go out to the gay clubs, do poppers. She loves the Property Brothers, both of them. And my dad, he uses Grindr. Guys, I'm kidding. My dad is a straight man, and he's loyal to my mom. But if he did use Grindr, he would be the no fats, no femmes type, if I'm being honest. It's because he's a Republican. But guys, don't worry. He's fiscally Republican, so he does not hate minorities. He only hates poor people. So it's fine. I think most of my personality comes from the time my vagina fused when I was 3. Oh, you want me to tell the story? Okay, fine. So I was 3, and little did I know my labia minora was closing like a Venus flytrap. It's this thing called labial fusion. And so, so it's like, to explain it to you guys, so like my mouth, like this is my labia. And it's like if you close your mouth, can't get it back open, it's shut, but your vag and your urethra are inside your mouth. And so then when you pee, your pee can't come out your mouth because your lips are sealed, and then you're at risk for a mouth UTI. So that's what it was like. So I'm at the doctor, and I think this is just like a regular checkup. It wasn't. I didn't know what was going on. I don't know if my parents already knew that the issue was that like my vagina was closed for business or not. But the doctor, Dr. Watkins, shout out to him, he's the realist. He pulls out these 2 super long Q-tips, and I'm like, wonder what that's for. I found out when he shoved them up my tight little pussy. So I'm 3, I'm in a doctor's office, I'm dry as hell, Dr. Watkins isn't even hot like that, and I have never experienced pain like this. People with vaginas, vajeeple if you will. Have you ever had someone just shove 2 fingers in you with no foreplay or warning? That's how that felt. For the cis men in the audience, so you guys can understand, it was equivalent to the emotional pain of when Lady Sybil died from eclampsia on Downton Abbey. So that's so you guys can get it. I still to this day don't know if he was trying to just bust it wide open and just, get it open, or if he was just like confirming that, yep, this is a fused coochie, case closed, just like my vagina. And now you're all wondering, like, shouldn't our time be up by now? But you're also wondering, how did they fix her vertical smile? Well, I'll tell you, and I'll get on the ground for this one. So every day, my sweet, sweet mother, bless her heart, she would say, Lucy, do frog legs. And that means I'd go like this. So this is frog legs. And then she would take estrogen cream, which is cream with estrogen in it, and she would just rub it on my bit and piece, singular because it was fused. And slowly but surely, I cranked back open like a motherfucking drawbridge. And I'm just really lucky I don't have trauma from this. That's all I have. Thank you. Please come find me after the show and tell me how funny I am.
It's time for your next comic, perpetual funny man, CBD spokesperson, and thankfully heavy sleeper, my roommate, Stanley Swerdlow.
All right. Thank you so much. All right, before I begin, I just want to start off with a quote. It is my favorite quote from Eleanor Roosevelt. Hello, how's everyone doing tonight? She probably said that once in her life, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I'm 20 years old, and you don't know that much about yourself at that age. Usually as you get older, you learn more about yourself. That's how it goes. But even at this young age, I've discovered one thing about myself, and that is that I, Stanley Swerdlow, am a follower. I know, it's hard to accept that. It's hard to accept that about yourself. No one wants to admit that they're a follower. We want to see ourselves as the general leading their army into battle, not the soldier 10 feet behind who gets shot right at the beginning of it. If I was on a plane that had just been hijacked and the passengers had tried to take it back over, I'd be the person still buckled in my seat because the terrorists never turned off the seatbelt sign. You know that famous scene in Spartacus, where everyone's like, I am Spartacus? I would be the 9th person who says it. Yeah, I could never be the first person to say I am Spartacus. Are you kidding me? I don't have that kind of confidence. If no one would have said anything, I would have totally let Spartacus die. I mean, shit, I can't cross the street unless 2 people cross it before me. If no one's around me, I'm just not going. I'm just not moving. I've never kissed a girl, but I know I'm good at it. I just feel it. And because I've never kissed a girl, of course, I've never had sex, never done anything between. And the reason for that is not because I'm an incel, although I did love Joker, so maybe I am an incel. But still, no, I don't think so, because the reason is just I haven't met the right girl. Not to marry, but to lose all those things in one go. Let me explain. I'm trying to have my first kiss, fall in love, and lose my virginity on the same night. Basically, I'm trying to hit a home run my first time at bat. And it's a hard task, but I'm going to try. And this is not an elaborate excuse for the real reason, which is that I don't like myself and don't think I deserve love. Because I can usually push those feelings away with weed. I love weed. I love marijuana. One of the classic arguments against marijuana, of course, is, marijuana is a gateway drug. If you smoke marijuana, that will lead you down a path into worse drugs. And when people tell this to me, my response has always been, yeah, I know, that's why I want to do it. Like, my goal is to get into worse drugs. Like, I'm climbing up the ladder. Marijuana, cocaine, heroin, just like my parents. Yeah, that's kind of like my cutesy-dootsy way of saying I had heroin addict parents. And when I say had, okay, don't worry, they're not dead. They are not dead. They are very much alive. And they stopped doing heroin. They stopped when I was 8 years old, which is a perfect time to stop doing heroin. And you might be thinking, aw, you must have had a really rough childhood. And I actually didn't. There's a lot of benefits to having heroin addict parents at that age. I will give you some. One, and I feel like this goes without saying, but free heroin. Right? Remember when you were 8 years old and all you ever wanted was heroin? Like, I got that all the time. At such a young age. I mean, it's a very, very privileged childhood. Very blessed. Number 2, when I went to the doctor, I was never scared to get my shots because I was so used to being around needles. I was like, come on, Doc, let's do this. This is easy. Like parents, like son. And then 3, I learned that there can be something that your parents love more than you. And that's a great thing to know. And look, I love my parents, and I know they love me, but I also know that can go away at any second, and I'm ready for it if it happens. Anyone here loved hide and seek when they were kids? I hated it. I hate hide and seek. I hated it with a passion. And the reason why I hated hide and seek was because I was bad at it. I was really bad at hide and seek because you have to think quick on your feet when you play hide and seek, and I'm not good at that. So I was always like the first one caught, and it really pissed me off. Not because like I would always lose. There's a deeper reason. Look, as a Jew, hide and seek is one of the only ways where we could figure out if we would survive the Holocaust. And I get caught first probably every time. So if I was there for it, I would have got caught in a heartbeat. And that makes me really angry. I just feel like such a disappointment to my family, especially my grandparents, because, they survived the Holocaust, and I bet it disappoints them that their grandson can't do it. I mean, I guess the one sweet thing about this is that, I'm also bad at being the seeker, which means if I was a Nazi, I would have never found any Jews, and they would have all lived. It's kind of sweet, right? I don't know. I feel like such a bad Jew. And I don't want to be a bad Jew. I want to be a good Jew. I don't want to be a bad Jew. Although, I don't think I can be a bad Jew. What's the other term for bad Jews again? Israelis? Right? Yeah, those are some bad Jews. And here's the thing. Calm down. When I say Israelis are bad, the whole Israel-Palestine conflict, that is the 7th thing I think of when I think of Israelis being bad. They are just generally not nice. Go to an Israeli market. You will have the worst time there. It does not matter how good the hummus, baba ganoush, or tahini is. Anyway, back to every Jew's favorite topic, the Holocaust. I have Holocaust survivors in my family. I don't know if you're more Jewish if you have Holocaust survivors in your family, but don't you though? Don't you? Come on. I think so. Any Jews here who have Holocaust survivors in their family? Woo! To the Jews that don't, I am so sorry. You're really missing out. So yeah, my grandparents, they went through the Holocaust, and I grew up hearing their stories, and of course they were very sad and very intense. In fact, they were so intense, and I heard them at such a young age. Because of that, other people's Holocaust stories kind of bore me. Like, the bar was set at such a young age, and just no one's topped it yet. And and they've tried. God bless them, they try. It's very cute. And look, I'm not saying their stories aren't valid. Of course they are. All I'm saying is my grandparents' stories are a little bit more. Like, look, I'm so sorry you lost your parents and 2 of your siblings, but my grandfather lost his parents and 4. Like, step your game up here. And it's like, look, I'm so sorry you were at Auschwitz. That's awful. That's horrific. But my grandmother lived in the woods. At least you had a place to stay. Can I tell you my least favorite kind of survivor? I've met a lot of them, and I've seen a lot of them, and if I could narrow it down, my least favorite kind of survivor, Roman Polanski. Yeah, just a bad guy, if you didn't know, is a Holocaust survivor. What, did you think I was going to say something like awful? Shame on you. Shame on all of you. What did you think I was going to say? Like, oh, I don't know. I don't like survivors that were like 2 or younger by the time the war was over? No. They're my second least favorite. They're a whole different kind of problematic. All right, I've been Stanley Swerdlow. Thank you so much.
You might know our next comedian from being the big dog on campus. Bow wow, it's Claire Farnsworth.
Uh-oh, what is up, Emerson College? How are we doing tonight? How are we feeling? Feeling good? I'm not. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not doing that well today. I've had something on my mind, and it's kind of been getting me down. But I think once I get it off my chest, I'll feel a lot better. I really hate to start my set off on such a serious note, but I have something important to say. It can be really hard being a female comedian. There are things we have to put up with as women that male comedians just don't, okay? Just hear me out. For example, and this is a real statistic, so feel free to cite me on this. For every 20 times that someone tells a female comedian, "Have you seen The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel yet? Oh my God, you have to watch it. It is so your show." A male comedian only hears it once. What's up with that? Another thing I've had to put up with as a woman in comedy is receiving multiple copies of the same exact Mindy Kaling book for birthdays and Christmases. These things just don't happen to male comedians. They don't. Female comedians get unsolicited copies of Amy Schumer's The Girl with the Lower Back Tattoo, and male comedians get to have sex with Ariana Grande. Enough. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thanks for listening. And that's just some of the oppression I carry with me on a day-to-day basis. So thank you for listening. A lot of allies here tonight. So I guess since I'm kind of on a roll here complaining about womanhood, I'll just keep it going. It can be dangerous existing as a human woman. So we're taught from pretty early on to always have our guard up, be prepared for any and every horrible thing that could possibly happen. So to feel safe, some women carry pepper spray. Some women hold their keys between their fingers like Wolverine. But me, my weapon of choice that I always have on me is a little bit of pee in my bladder at all times. Not a lot, just enough, you know? You guys, I don't mean this in a threatening way, but I am armed right now. And you are all in the splash zone. No sudden movements or loud noises. I actually get this technique from a relative of mine. It's been passed down generation to generation for centuries. My mom always told me this story growing up about her Aunt Edie, who was alone in a parking garage one night. And a man approached her and held her at gunpoint. And without missing a beat, my great Aunt Edie sat on the ground, peed herself, and started singing Christmas carols. That's true. That is a true thing that someone I'm related to did. The guy with the gun ended up running away, which I don't blame him. I don't think any of us here could say we would have done otherwise had we been in his combat boots. He took one look at my great aunt like, that's not worth it. I don't need money that bad. My wife and kids can go another day without eating, it's fine. You guys, it's also sad to me because I picture the robber getting ready that morning. I picture him hyping himself up in the mirror like, today's the day. Deep breaths, Kyle. You can do this. He's rehearsed his lines like, give me your money. No, not tough enough. Give me your money. Yeah, that's the one I'm gonna use. He even got dressed up all cute that morning. He slipped on his favorite ski mask and black leather gloves. Because when you look good, you feel good. All of this leading up to his moment of truth, which finally came only to find what he couldn't have possibly prepared for. My great Aunt Edie, sitting and singing in a puddle of her own urine. What are the odds? Edie ended that man's robbing career that night. She just took that man's potential and pissed on it. And that man's name was Ebenezer Scrooge. He learned the true meaning of Christmas that year. God bless us all, everyone. I'd like to take this moment to give a shout out to the TAM. For those of you who don't know, the TAM is a wonderful place. It's a bar right near campus where Emerson students and homely alcoholic Boston locals alike can drink together as one on weeknights. It's magical. And I mean exactly that. The TAM is magical. Scientists theorize that there are infinite possible realities. And I believe that they all intersect at the TAM. The moment you pass the threshold or the doors to the TAM, the universe rolls the dice. Anything can happen. You and your friends all enter the TAM together, this wormhole in which time does not exist. And yet, you will all end up with drastically different storylines. I feel like every time I go out, my night is like the Netflix interactive movie Bandersnatch. I can't help but feel like the choices my friends and I make are dictated by a teenager laying alone in their bed in the dark on a laptop, because there's really no other logical explanation for my life decisions. Is it alcohol? Is it my own chaotic energy and lack of self-preservation that's responsible for my actions? Probably not. Is it some otherworldly entity that has a Netflix account and has taken possession of my free will? Most likely. Thank you all. I've been Claire Farnsworth. Follow me on Instagram and stream Dickinson November 1st.
Our final comic of the night is a boy with a poet's soul. It's the dreamy but shy Patrick Gray.
Hello. I'm going to start with some impressions. This is my impression of David Foster Wallace after he goes to the bathroom and washes his hands and wipes his hands on his pants, but he doesn't want people to think it's pee because it's water. This is water. I do a very mean Elvis impression. I just don't say thank you very much. This is my impression of David Foster Wallace drinking a can of LaCroix. This is water? So yeah, that's the kind of comedy I do. I do impressions and characters, and because a lot of the times it feels like the concept of Patrick Gray is a character. It is a costume. I exist as a canvas for people to project emotions and ideas onto. So tonight I'm doing something different. A pretty serious thing happened to me recently. This thing's not working, so I'm gonna. Someone stole my Frances Ha DVD and I want it back. That's Greta Gerwig. She starred and wrote in Frances Ha, my favorite movie. That's me with my DVD. That's another picture of me with my DVD. That's another photo of me with my DVD. That's another photo of me with my DVD that I did spend $40 on. And there's a photo I drew from reference. I drew it off the top of my head. This is from memory. It's pretty good. So what had happened? Let's just break down what happened. I was driving to Best Buy in my big-ass yellow Hummer, just barreling down, doing 100, just blasting LCD sound system from my Beats pill. And I looked down at my phone for not even 5 minutes to Google, does Adam Driver smoke cigarettes? It turns out he does, but when I did that, I lost control of the wheel and I creamed over a Mini Cooper, and I died. But when I died, I pissed my pants. So when I pissed my pants, because I pissed my pants, the video went viral. Eminem posted it to YouTube. And the video went so viral that Tosh got it on his show. Mr. Tosh, he made fun of me on the show, but then, God bless his heart, he brought me on to do a web redemption, and I succeeded, and I'm back alive now, and we hang out. We're friends, and we play skee ball together. But when I creamed over the Mini Cooper, I killed 3 people. It was manslaughter. That's the Mini Cooper. The people inside the Mini Cooper is Cecil the Lion. Cecil the Lion, I killed him. I feel bad about it, but it was an accident. And I'll say it, accidents shouldn't be illegal. The other person in the Mini Cooper, Austin Powers. That's why the cops, they're after me, and they put a wanted poster, and the reward is $1 million. Let me just do that again so everyone catches $1 million. Like from the movie. So I'm forming a suicide squad to get my DVD back because I think I lost my DVD in the sort of madness of all of that. When I died, I went back to the scene, it wasn't there, and also to fight the cops, honestly, because they're on my fucking tail. Me, I'm on the team. I have a 3.3 GPA, which is pretty good. It's passing. It's gotten me where I am, which is here. I have a thigh gap, which is just so important to have for a lot of reasons. I got banned from the King of Prussia Mall, which is actually just badass. This is just a badass thing I did. I got banned for jumping into the fountain because my wish was to be a penny and to get banned from the King of Prussia Mall. Another badass thing I did, killed my dad. Another reason why the cops were kind of after me, we had gotten into an argument, I forget what it was over, and, I pushed him down the steps, and his last words to me were, Patrick Gray, in that exact tone. Next up on the squad, my sweetheart. My sweetheart, she goes to RISD and studies textiles. And do you guys want to know the difference between my sweetheart and Juliana Margulies? Juliana Margulies, she played a good wife on CBS for 7 seasons. My sweetheart, she's a great wife. She's in charge of explosives and the detonator. Next up on the squad, Mason from Boyhood. He's obviously good with computers, so he's head of hacking and cheat codes and such, and tech. He has a goth sister who can buy us cigarettes and beer. He knows what Reddit is. He showed me this thing that I think is interesting that you guys should all look up. It's r/Sanders for president. It's a really interesting grassroots campaign that's happening about this man that is running for mayor. Next up on the squad, oh no, he also has a thigh gap. I forgot that for a second. He is an 8-year-old boy. The half man. The half man, he's a big unit in the squad. He's my best friend. Let's just get this clear. Anyone in the audience that might think they're my best friend, he is my best friend. He's just dumb as fuck, though. This kid, he's dumb as a bag of rocks, but he is so strong, and that's what he brings to the team. He's such a just hunk of muscle, and you couldn't tell by looking at the kid. He owns Cards Against Humanity, which is what we do when we sort of relax. And these cards are kind of fucked up. I'll pull a card out, and it'll say something like JFK assassination, and that's funny to us because we're fucked up. He's also an atheist. He explained to me that, religion, it's actually the cause of all wars and homophobia, and that Christian bad. Next up on the squad, James Corden. James Corden, also a pretty big deal. He's the driver, like Turtle from Entourage. He drives us around, which is good because carpool karaoke. He does that, so I know he has his license. He's British, I think, like John Oliver, Chappie. Oh no, Bart Simpson graffitied my slideshow. Bart Simpson is not in the Suicide Squad. My mom, she's in charge of snacks. She's a widow. I killed her dad. The suspects. Paranormal Activity ghost. These ghosts, you can't see them coming, okay? I think this movie is fucking real. I know it isn't, but if you watch it, you think it's real. Jimmy Kimmel, this whole thing, he could have taken my DVD like he does to the trick-or-treat candy. And this is all a prank, and I'm going to be on YouTube. My mom, again, I did kill her husband, my dad, which is a pretty serious motive to have. She's taken my toys before, too. The cops. Obviously, as I mentioned, they are up my ass trying to get me. The cops are after me, but there has been support for people that are paying attention. David Hogg did tweet this. This was a march that happened. Ricky Gervais, he's in support of me. He said this: I just want my DVD back, guys. Oh no, that guy's got cop clothes on. Oh no.
Thank you for coming out to the Emerson Channel Comedy Special. We know there are a lot of cool, quirky movies playing right now, so we're glad you chose to spend the night with us.